It's my pleasure to welcome Orlando City SC as Major League Soccer's 21st expansion team. Yeah!
It's the end of an era. The final USL Pro season.
Takes a shot, and it's a goal! Orlando City!
There's a target on our back, but we've only got one mission. Win. 2 goals, a ball, and a culture defined by success.
Make sure we get up, guys, yeah?
Don't think we're just going to overlook this season. After all, we have a title to defend.
From the ESPN Wide World of Sports complex at Walt Disney World Resort, this is USL Pro Soccer 2014. Tonight, the league-leading and unbeaten Orlando City Lions face the Charlotte Eagles in a rematch of the 2013 championship game. Good evening and welcome to ESPN Wide World of Sports, everybody. I'm Jeff Radcliffe. Thank you so very much for joining us for another YouTube telecast of Orlando City and USL Pro Soccer. To my left, my partner is always Tom Traxler, and if you're Orlando City, you're feeling pretty good. You traveled 7,000 miles over the last 2 weeks and got 7 points out of 3 games.
Well, that's always what the manager says, Jeff. Adrian Heath, he says if we can get 4 points from every 2 games, we're going to win the league. We're going to be there or thereabouts. They got 7 points out of a possible 9. They've traveled all over the place, so he has to be really, really happy with that.
Well, it's home sweet home. The first of 6 games in all competitions, 4 in the league tonight against Charlotte. You want to get out on the front foot, as you always say.
Absolutely. It's important that you win the 3 points at home. I think that's always Coach Adrian Heath's plan. If you can split them on the road or pick up your draw on the road with a win, but always come back home, defend your turf. And that's what they're going to do. And they do that well at home. And they've done that well all season, Jeff. If you understand, they're still unbeaten in all competitions. So very important that they get started off with 3 points tonight.
24 points. They top the table, 6 points clear of second place LA Galaxy 2. Now, when we're talking about Charlotte tonight, you look at the history, there have been a number of close games. The lone exception was that championship game. It was close for a while, but usually these games, very low scoring between the Eagles and the Lions.
Yeah, unpredictable is what you can say about these games. But if there's anything predictable about them, is that they're always close affairs, even though you might not think they're going to be. Last season, Orlando City, should I say, looking great in the preseason, looking great in the early season, goes up to Charlotte, 1-1 draw, unexpected. They come back home, and they're going to face a Charlotte team late in the season that made a lot of changes coming into that game. Only won the game 1-0. So always close no matter what. And I think Adrian Heath knows tonight his fellows are going to be in for a tough game.
This year's Eagles 3-4-0 coming in 9 points. That's good for 9th place. Just 5 players return to Mark Steffen's lineup. You see Drew Yates right there. He is one of the guys that make everything work.
He's the Charlotte Picasso, Jeff. They don't like to position this guy. Why? Because he's creative. 5 assists, leads the league so far this season. 2 goals. So that right there explains why I call him the Charlotte Picasso, because he's a creator. He's a painter.
Former U.S. U-17 national teamer, much like the man you see there. Tommy Redding got his first start in an Orlando City purple jersey just last week. He performed well, and he will get the start tonight at center back because Rob Valentino's still out with that injury.
He did very well, actually, in his first start as a pro last week in Arizona. Comes home. He's going to be really, really excited, Jeff. This is his hometown. He grew up here in Orlando. He was playing club soccer here in Orlando, and he gets to start his first pro game and in his home city. So he's going to be really excited tonight. He's got to fight those nerves. He's got to focus and concentrate tonight, though. Don't get lost in the moment.
He'll be going up against Charlotte tonight. Again, these 2 teams met for the championship last year. A 7-4 win for Orlando City as Adrian Heath looks back on that epic game.
Well, if you look at the games, that was I'm not saying the easiest game that we had, but the scoreline suggests it was a lot easier than it was. But they traditionally give us a lot of problems. I think we've drawn 2 games over there and been lucky to come out with a draw. So we know it's going to be tough. And, you know, as per usual, I've watched the Charlotte games on tape and a bit up and down, but when they're good, they're very good. So we're going to have to play properly. We're going to have to give them the respect that they deserve. But I'm more concerned with my own team, and if we can play like we can and everybody goes about it properly and does the job properly, then we should be okay.
That's Orlando City manager Adrian Heath. We are minutes away from kickoff. It's the Charlotte Eagles and Orlando City Lions as Orlando City kicks off a 4-game homestand in USL Pro. We'll be back with the kickoff right after this. Adi Yergi with our national anthem here at ESPN Wide World of Sports as Charlotte and Orlando City getting set to do battle in this first of 4 home games for the Lions. Let's meet the visitors from Charlotte, 3-4-0, coming in 9 points, 9th place in the league. And they will go out of a 4-3-3 under their head coach Mark Steffens in his 18th season. The USL Hall of Famer Duckworth, that's Brock Duckworth, will be the goalie. Noonan, Greer, Gold, and Duckett will be the 4 across the back. The holding mids, Juan Guzman and Fred Sakiri. Then on the wings, you'll see Wells Thompson on the left, Herrera on the right. The aforementioned Drew Yates, who we just talked about, will be the guy in the middle, and they'll try to feed it up top to Zach Boggs, the forward, the native of West Virginia. Tom, tell us about Orlando City's lineup tonight.
Jeff, Orlando City will start in their traditional 4-2-3-1. Of course, Miguel Gallardo will be the man in between the pipes, looking to keep another clean sheet. Luke Bowden will be handling the duties over on the left side. We mentioned Tommy Redding making his first home start of his career. Brad Russin next to him. And the return of Mr. Burke. Mr. Burke makes his return in purple in front of his home fans. He is going to be very excited. Of course, the midfield being held down by Giovanni Alvarez and Darwin Sarin. And then in the midfield, we have Adama Mbenge, who has been lighting it up for the Lions since his return into the lineup. Number 27 will be Kobe, as we call him, Kobe Spann. He will be he'll be right in the hole, and Kevin Molino on the right side. And then Dennis Chin, the man with all the goals, will be up top. And if he scores, look out for the Nene, because here it comes.
I was about to say Nene. How about Miguel Gallardo, the Team of the Week honoree for his clean sheets efforts the last couple of weeks in USL Pro? See Kevin Molino, the leading scorer on this team. That's Alvarez as well, trotting out, ready to go for Orlando City. 7-0-3, 24 points. They're in first place, again 6 points clear of second, and they've played 10. This is game number 11 on the season. So the Lions will be in the purple, appear to go right to left against the orange-clad Charlotte Eagles here. This will be the first of 2 visits for Charlotte, as you see Jorge Herrera, who has been with the Eagles for quite a while, led them in scoring a year ago, and he can play anywhere. He's a guy who's from Colombia, plays left and right. Tonight he'll be on that right side for Coach Steffens.
He's a handful, and Luke Bowden will have his hands full. But, you know, Orlando City like to push the issue. They love to play forward, so I think they're going to try and keep George Herrera tracking back a little bit.
Going left to right are the Eagles, and we're underway here at ESPN Wide World of Sports on a Wednesday night affair in the Sunshine State.
Wednesday night football. Or soccer, if you prefer. It's good to see Brian Burke back in the lineup after his injury. Jeff, he suffered a bad injury last season against Charleston on the road, and it took him all this time to recover. So, good guy. Glad to see him back in the lineup and doing well.
Yeah, nasty tackle, like a scissor kick, and it broke his leg. He's just now getting back. Been out for 10 months, and he was having a team MVP type season along that right side. You will see him bomb up and down that sideline like Luke Bowden. It's like having 2 Luke Bowdens out there, and now Orlando City on that left. And it will be sent out by Mbenge. It will be a throw for Orlando City.
Brian Burke can run all day long. I like to say he's got lungs like a horse, Jeff.
There's Luke. Lions on the road the last couple of weeks. Got some nice victories. I'm sure Adrian not incredibly pleased with the way they performed. They were very, very tight. Didn't really dominate, especially in Arizona. I think he thought that his team could have played a little bit better, but that's life on the road in USL Pro.
You know, at the end of the day, if you're an Orlando City fan, you love the fact that your coach doesn't let them get a day off. He doesn't let them have a minute off. If they have a bad result, he's going to let them know. And even if they get the 3 points, sometimes 3 points on the road is huge. But for Orlando, it's also how you go about getting those 3 points. And if he's not happy with the way the ball's moving, he's going to let them know about it.
Had a pair of 1-0 victories against Pittsburgh and Arizona United, bookending that 1-1 draw at Rochester. So now it will be the first of 4 here at home sweet home.
And, you know, that wasn't an easy trip, Jeff. Those were back-to-back games. You know, one night you play in Pittsburgh, then you're hopping on a bus.
Different lineup.
Well, you're hopping on a bus, and you don't get into New York and Rochester until, you know, 2 o'clock, 2:30 in the morning. Then you're having to get up and play again. That's almost Superman kind of stuff, Jeff.
Ball pushed ahead now on that left flank as Bowden collects the pass. Another player for Orlando is down, and it's Mbenge. It appears to be in a spot of bother.
That definitely didn't feel good. You could tell he got a little bit of contact.
Charlotte, meanwhile, hasn't had the best of form to start, but you can't blame them. They've been on the road for what seems like forever. They started the season with 2 straight home games, and they've been on the road ever since. In fact, this is game 6 of 7 on this road swing for Charlotte. They'll come back and play 4 at home after they play Richmond later this week.
None of that, as I think you brought up at the top of the broadcast, they introduced 20 new players into the squad. I mean, what a job Coach Mark Steffens has done and has to do. Look at that shot pulled there.
Yeah, top of the 18 was sent across just to the left. And it
like Kevin Molino pulling the trigger on that one.
Was pushed out and appears to be a corner kick as Duckworth will set up in that yellow goalie jersey.
He's got the sun in his eyes, Jeff. Sun's going down on that side. You can see him trying to shield it off so he can see. And it is hot out there. It is as hot as a devil's armpit.
Darwin Surin will let it go with his right foot. Corner is away. Bending far post. A shot just over the bar. Got sent right back out.
Wow, that looked like it was in, Jeff.
Everybody in the park thought that was in. We'll have to see who cleared that off the line at the last second. It was drilled right at the goal. And now here comes Charlotte, who are very adept on the counter. This is what they do, especially when they play on the road. Here's the run now being made by Zach Boggs. A big target there at 6-1.
Well, that's something a lot of teams probably work on playing against Orlando, because Orlando makes no bones about it. They're going to play one way. They don't adjust the way they play for anybody. They go forward. So teams will automatically drop a little bit deeper, especially coming here to ESPN's Wide World of Sports, which, and if Orlando comes to play on top of them, it opens Orlando up to the counter. So typically coming here, teams are looking to play on the counter.
Burke with a nice cross inside as Spann had a nice little move to get the ball out to him. And Charlotte will retake possession on the left side with Ben Noonan, who is the left back, and a local boy out of Kernersville, North Carolina. Also played at Wake Forest. A lot of local flavor on this Eagle side as Orlando now takes the ball away. I believe this is Spann into the center. Nice job by, I want to say, Molino. No, that was Chin that nearly got a foot on it.
Well, if that was Dennis Chin, he did a nice job of letting the ball come to him, but then dragging it across his body. His touch was just a little bit too heavy, and Brock Duckworth was quickly off his line to snuff that out.
Spann on the ground for the moment.
If you ever want to know if that's changed, just look at his feet. He's got some of the brightest boots out there.
Well, so does Mbenge. Mbenge's got the orange.
and he is wearing those yellow Vapors from Nike. Is Dennis Chin. These boots are getting so loud, Jeff.
Duckworth will kick it away. Goal kick Charlotte here as we are now into our 6th minute of play. Possession, as expected, held by Orlando City so far. Headed forward. Now there's Dennis Chin with those yellow Vapors. He got the Vapors now on the right side. They close in because they know what he can do. Scored 2 goals on him in the championship game last year. And he earns a throw for Orlando.
Well, pace is a big thing for Chinny. And he needs to put those runs in. He has to put in good, hard runs. And he needs to be strong when he's in that box, Jeff.
Ball rolls across the halfway line. Russin will clean it up, and now get to call Tommy Redding's name for the first time as Orlando perhaps makes the switch. No, they'll send it right back to Russin. Along the near touchline, and Mbenge. Ball gets away just a bit. And now here comes Charlotte on the counter.
Keep it simple sometimes is the best method.
Ooh, Boggs with a little nudge to Surin in the back.
Well, he's not going to get it, but he's certainly asking for it.
Zach Boggs actually spent some time at UCF and then graduated from USF at South Florida in 2009.
So no stranger to these Florida lands, Jeff. I'm sure he's been in Orlando a few times.
Smart player and a smart student. He was the Humanitarian of the Year, a Rhodes Scholar nominee. He won a Fulbright scholarship and studied over in England.
So he's nice and smart.
Nice and smart. There's a save by Gallardo, goes up and takes it out of the air. Miguel with a couple of clean sheets the last couple of weeks against Pittsburgh and Arizona United, as we mentioned on that USL Pro Team of the Week.
And deserved. Yeah, he's been keeping quite a few clean sheets lately, has Miguel Gallardo. I'm sure he'll credit the defenders that are in front of him for their part in that, in keeping clean sheets.
Charlotte keeping it, and we'll work it back. Matt Gold and Duckworth will have to get rid of it quickly as Chin was closing in.
I like that. Chin was closing in.
Rhyming and stealing for you here on YouTube. Turnover, middle of the park. Orlando nicely kept on the foot by Surin. Now left side. Bowden turns on the Jets. Surveys what he has across. Just pokes it forward. That will be pounded out for another corner kick. Orlando City here in our 10th minute.
It's very important usually that Orlando get off to strong starts, Jeff. Strong starts for Orlando usually equal a good rest of the game for Orlando. The last thing you want sometimes is to let a team hang around. You don't want to have all the possession, but let a team remain level with you. It just gives them more belief. So I'm sure Adrian Heath stresses getting off to good starts, putting teams under pressure early.
Darwin to the right side and off a defender of Charlotte. So corner upcoming from the other side.
Let's just change sides and do it again.
Now Adama Mbenge has shown the propensity to put these things on frame. Wouldn't be surprised at some point this season he gets an Olympic goal, the way he bends these in. There's one going right into the 6 and headed out. It will be goal kick for Charlotte. Oh no.
Another corner.
Our referee, Lance Jacob Van Heidsma, says otherwise.
Saying there's a little touch as it went out.
Fourth corner. Cern will tee it up again. Duckworth earning his keep. Coming back out to the top of the 18. Shot off the mark. Kind of got it away. That one's drilled. Save Duckworth.
Should be.
There's a goal for Orlando City. Kevin Molino with his team leading 6 of the season.
Well, it was a blistering effort that came in on Brock Duckworth. Did everything he could to parry it back out, but as his defenders were coming out, that's how the shot came in. And of course, Kevin Molino was there with a dustpan and a broom, just cleaning it up. Watch this hammer. Brian Burke.
With a lot of mustard on that one. And hot diggity dog, Molino's got a goal, and Orlando leads it 1-0.
Brian Burke had about 9 months of frustration in that shot. And there's Kevin Molino. He's doing the job. That's what you got to do sometimes. They all count the same. They all don't have to bust the back of the net.
We talk all the time, Tom, about for Orlando, the key is getting out in front early because everything opens up, and now it's going to be a lot tougher on Charlotte to get out of here with a point because now they've got to chase the game.
Well, of course. Yes, Jeff. I mean, teams will come in and they'll try and keep it tight and they'll try and keep it close here. And that's great when you can defend most of the match. But then when you do have to come out and chase it and you have to get a goal, you're going to open yourself up a little bit.
Booking now on Charlotte.
But Coach Mark Steffens, a very experienced coach in this league, 18th season, and a class act and a very knowledgeable coach. he won't be fazed by what's going on. He'll be calm. He'll rally his troops.
Wells Thompson gets the booking, another native of North Carolina from Winston-Salem, also played at Wake Forest. So he's in the book. We'll call that in the 12th minute. So our first yellow. And now will be a free kick, and Reading will release. One drilled ahead. Another dangerous ball that will be off of Orlando. Fans, follow USL Pro Soccer at USLProSoccer.com. You can catch scores, stats, news, and more. That's exclusively on USLProSoccer.com. 1-0 Orlando here in the 13th. You gotta like this start if you're Adrian Heath, right there.
Well, anytime you can start positively, yes, you're going to be somewhat pleased. But again, you know, for Adrian, it's not always about the score or what the result is. It's about how you go about getting it, and he's quite a taskmaster when it comes to that. As well, he should be.
Famously,
as well, he should be. I, as most people in Orlando, are very happy that he is the coach of Orlando, both now and going forward in the future.
Here's Herrera, who we've seen play for Charlotte ever since Orlando's been in the league. He has been one of those guys to mark. As a native of Bogota, Colombia, now 33 years old, been in Charlotte since 2007. He'll take a lot of these set pieces. He's played in places like Colombia, Argentina, and Paraguay. Brings that little flair and experience, and it's drilled right over the top that time. Not the best of efforts as we've entered our 15th.
Well, he'll bring lots of experience. Very talented player. Very talented when the ball's at his feet.
Herrera currently on 10 points this season. That puts him third in the league behind Molino and then George Davis of Richmond. So he's having a productive year as a 33-year-old. Orlando now drilled forward by Bowden. And the backs will give chase, and we'll play it straight back to Duckworth. Foul committed there inside the circle by Alvarez.
Giordani Alvarez, and
who leads the team in fouls committed.
Fred Sakiri getting into it in the midfield.
Third foul whistled on the Lions tonight.
Busy month for Orlando, this, Jeff.
Oh, my goodness, especially here at home, which is good. If you're going to have a busy month, you want to be comfortable. Now Charlotte. Guys, something working. They spray it to the other side of the 18, and Boggs overran it just a touch.
You can still sense that Charlotte's still trying to figure this whole thing out. You know, 20 new players. Just got off a 3-1 U.S. Open Cup win this past week
against the Carolina Dynamo.
But you get the sense they're still trying to figure out who plugs in best where.
Oh, what a ball forward. A little too much pace on it as Duckworth had to come way off his line just to clear it out. It'll be a throw for Orlando.
Well, that ball came straight out of Harvard. It was very educated. What a wonderful pass.
But it wasn't Zach Boggs, the Fulbright scholar. No. Lions that time. And each of these teams in the next round of the U.S. Open Cup will face sides from the NASL. Charlotte will take on the Rayhawks on Wednesday, and Orlando will take on the Tampa Bay Rowdies for the second time this season. This one will count for something, not just an exhibition. Of course, the Lions beat Tampa Bay 3-0 in the first leg of the I-4 Derby. That ball rolls into the 18, defended nicely by Charlotte.
But both these teams will squarely have their attention right here tonight, Jeff. They're not thinking anything further than these next 75 minutes or so. Because the league is your bread and butter. No matter what you do anywhere else, your league is where you want to perform best.
Oh, dangerous ball and some space to work. Cuts off to the left shot. Big save by Miguel Gallardo.
Well, there's the Carolina Picasso, Drew Yates. You see him looking like he's going to go right, cuts it left. Great shot, forcing Miguel Gallardo into action.
And Gallardo will let that go out. And you see the supporter section chanting Gallardo, saying we are not worthy of his efforts.
Well, he certainly showed up worthy at that, because Drew Yates put in an effort that if you weren't worthy, it was going by you.
Yates 2 goals, 5 assists coming in. The assist mark does lead the league, as we mentioned in our open. Here comes the switch by Orlando. Quickly on that right side, Brian Burke got the touch, and he'll come back. This is our first look at home at Burke, of course, and Tommy Redding. Got their first starts of the season on the road as this ball's taking into the 18. Back out to the top. And Benge with the one touch and cleared out for a second.
Trying to get those one-touch combinations going, Jeff. Just ball didn't come quite to where he was standing.
Guzman circled it back out. 50-50 ball, and it goes to Charlotte for the second. It will roll back to Gallardo.
You mentioned Tommy Redding. I've been very, very impressed with the 2 youngsters for Orlando City, both Tommy Redding and Tyler Turner, both showing some maturity and confidence beyond their young years. Both just 18, 19 years old. Very, very young.
Both 18. Yeah. Tyler starting 6 games at right back so far this season. Burke, now the entrenched starter from a year ago, starting to perhaps take his spot right back.
Like I said, just showing some maturity beyond their years, Jeff, beyond their years. And that's a promising sign for these young players.
Both are signed for the MLS next season. Turner was the 4th signee for Adrian Heath, and then Redding, the first homegrown player. Now here comes Charlotte. And the Eagles have it dispossessed as we enter our 20th minute. 1-0 Orlando City. Kevin Molino, 6 of the year on a rebound.
You don't care how they come as long as they come, Jeff. I'm sure both coaches would tell you that.
Span grabbed his left foot there, trying to get back into the play. Duckett for Herrera. Got to mark him close. Bowden does. Pushes him back. Greer and Gold are the center back combo for Coach Steffens tonight. Now out left to
really, neither team has necessarily settled quite into this first 20 minutes. Orlando City was certainly, excuse the pun, the lion's share of corners. But some of those came off exchanges where it was, corner after corner. It went from right to left and then back to right again, depending on which way you were sitting and looking. Could have been left to right to left again.
Here's some space by Duckett, the right back. Let's see how his cross is with that right foot. Sends it into the sky and nearly into the supporter sections, and he gets a cheer for that.
Yeah, I would tend to say he overhit that one a little bit.
Overcooked it. A well-done steak, if you will.
Can't have that. Even Grey Poupon doesn't taste good on a well-done steak.
Well, the normal starter at right back, Johnny Leathers, out injured tonight. And he got injured in that U.S. Open Cup game. And appeared to have tore his hamstring, and that would be certainly bad news for the Eagles if he can't come back soon.
Yeah, you certainly hate to hear that, and you hate to hear players being out for an extended period of time. They work hard. Players, they work hard to get themselves fit and healthy and get on the team. So, very disappointing when you come across an injury like that.
Leathers, like Yates, another former U.S. Youth National teamer. 2 appearances in the U23s back in 2008. So, plenty of experience at that point, the 28-year-old who is not in the lineup tonight with that injury. There's Bowden. Little cheeky.
Clever touch.
Very nicely done by Mbenge. Rolls out to Surin. Dribbles it off to his left foot. He'll send it in. Deflected by the Eagles.
Is that Matt Gold?
It was as good as gold if it was to step in the way. Ben across. Redding handles it nicely and gives it off to Alvarez. Nice ball through right side. Molino and slides in safe.
That one might get a booking, Jeff. I don't know.
The very minimum, it will be a free kick in a dangerous spot for Orlando City, who lead this 1-0.
He's certainly going to get a talking to. I think one more of those and he may go in the book.
And our referee, Lance Jacob Van Heidsma, he's assisted tonight by Alexander Darostang, Jonathan Quinter, and Hassan Belnaya. Very familiar USL Pro crew. Do a number of soccer games at all levels here in Central Florida. Now on our 24th. Ready for this free kick. Delivered with the left foot.
Go short.
Sent across. They tried to get it to Burke. Deflection and off the post as Duckworth dove to his left. Thanking his lucky stars it's not 2-0.
Those deflections can get you sometimes, Jeff. They try a little clever free kick that didn't quite work out, but almost worked out. In fact, I think that's just the way they drew it up. Make the run off, and you're going to get the shot. It's going to deflect off the player, and it's going to go in. It just didn't go in, but that's the way it was planned.
Russin on that back post nearly had a goal, as we saw Dennis Chin clench his teeth after that shot. Fans, you can visit the USL Pro fan page on Facebook at facebook.com/USL Pro. So close yet so far away. As Brock Duckworth, first-year goalie, 25-year-old, sends it away. Had one appearance with Charleston as the backup last year for Coach Mark Anhauser.
So he's no stranger to these USL Pro affairs.
But now the starter. Didn't get that opportunity in the Battery Land.
It's probably what you always wanted to be.
So far, 4 games, 4 goals allowed. A couple of shutouts, too. There's Herrera along the right side. Has it taken away on a heavy touch by Mbenge, who races into the open field. Herrera tries to catch up, and Mbenge keeps it on his left foot into the 18-yard box and earns a corner kick.
Well, Adam Mbenge showing his deftness on a slalom course there, Jeff.
He hit every gate.
He weaves in, he weaves out, he avoids the gates, maybe he hits the gates.
The 19-year-old Senegalese midfielder knows how to ride the edges of the skis. 5th corner now for Orlando City. Duckworth continuing to be tested there in between the pipes. Directs the defense in front. Here is the service from Surin. Drilled to the far post. Duckworth collided with Russin, it appeared. Back up quickly. Lions have controlled this throughout. That one sent across and will be kept in by Surin. Again, going to his left, goes down, but not after the challenge.
Again, tries to set his man up, looking like the cross is going to come in, and cuts it inside. Looks like Kevin Duckett was not fooled there.
Now Herrera steps in front.
Yeah, you see the pressure from Orlando is forcing both Wells Thompson and George Herrera much, much deeper.
Left side, Newnham.
Hello, Newnham.
Says hello to the ball one more time. Tries to hit him on the diagonal run. Cannot. And Orlando City take possession. Boy, a bad giveaway there. What can happen for Charlotte.
Somebody went colorblind for a minute.
Oh, dangerous ball, would have been offside anyway. And Gallardo has some words with his back line as we saw Drew Yates in a trouble spot for Orlando there, making things happen.
You got to be careful. You can't go giving balls away to anybody, especially in your third.
Yates has a high motor. Graduate of University of Maryland, won a national championship with the Terps back in 2009, then got drafted by the Chicago Fire in MLS, never saw a game. But coming into his own, when we asked Coach Steffens about him, says you just got to let him go.
Blossoming, I think was the word that was used. And yeah, they said that, you know, he's a hard player to position because he just kind of does his thing. And he's very effective that way.
One of those players that just make everybody better.
Sometimes you're good just to let a player have a bit more of a free role, give him that role to go find the ball and create problems wherever he goes.
Noonan ahead. As now Thompson will work in, cut to his other side. I'll have to work it back out as the defense closes in for Orlando City. The high pressure yields a turnover. Along the right side, here come the Lions.
Oh, heavy touch.
Molino just got it going a little too fast as he had Span working out right.
Heavy touch. Unlucky.
Nice run until that point. Guzman whipping across back to Noonan. You can see Charlotte trying to keep some possession going. Now Herrera, ball through. One zigged when the other zagged, or that would have been trouble.
That was a good looking through ball by Drew Yates for sure, and I don't think either Zach Boggs or Wells Thompson were on the same page. Maybe they thought the ball wasn't coming. They held up a little bit, held up their run when they should have kept going.
And Amen Benge now. He's got player trailing, now comes right back out to Molino, shoots and scores! Orlando City leads 2-0, a brace for Kevin Molino.
Well, you could see that coming as if you were standing on the tracks of a runaway freight train, Jeff. As soon as Kevin got that ball and came across the box, unmolested almost, you knew he was going to get a quality effort on frame. Watch the ball come in, doesn't get the clearance, quite comes across, takes a great touch, and is able to bring it back across. Brock Duckworth tucks it in that far post.
We've played a half hour. The Lions lead it 2-0. As Kevin Molino, the Trinidad and Tobago international and signee for the MLS squad next year, who is now really putting together a nice early portion of the season, if he hadn't already. 7 goals to go with 4 assists. 2 in this game. Trinidad and Tobago, actually, we'll see what happens later this season. They're scheduled to have a couple of friendlies against some of the World Cup teams. I believe they play Argentina in the lead up to the World Cup coming up in 3 weeks. So we'll see if Molino is called up.
I'm sure Kevin would probably be in those plans for his national team of Trinidad and Tobago. And what an exciting fixture to be called in for, Jeff.
If you're Adrian Heath, though, hey, it's a friendly. Doesn't mean anything. Stay with us because you're scoring goals.
Exactly.
Doing everything else for us.
Exactly. But it's always an honor to get called for it to be called by your country to play for your nation. So tough things to say no to if you're a player, Jeff.
Yeah, free flight to Buenos Aires. Argentina one of the favored teams in June's World Cup to do well in their particular group, which I believe is one of the easier.
Well, yeah, they'll definitely get out of their group, and they'll probably win their second round game. Past that, I think a lot of Argentinians are saying, we don't know. The back line, not too good. Goalkeeping situation, kind of shaky. Very good going forward. But definitely will get out of their group, no doubt about that.
Always an exciting team to watch when you have a young man named Lionel Messi. although has not really duplicated what he's done at the club level at the international level.
Sometimes it's like that, Jeff. Sometimes you have players that really play well at one level or the other. Sometimes it just happens.
It's Adrian Heath kicking it to Luke Bowden.
He's still got a great touch, even wearing his shiny dress shoes.
Battle in the middle. Herrera with the touch, comes back to center. And now here comes Charlotte. Yates leaves it into some space. And now we'll whip it across. 2 goals from Kevin Molino have given the Lions a 2-0 lead.
Definitely deserved, Jeff. I think Orlando's had a good portion of the possession.
Duckett with the header. And go head over heels went Brad Russin.
Got to be careful with those. Those are how you break wrists sometimes.
Russin at 6'4". If he goes airborne, it's a long way down.
You might as well, if he goes up, you need a parachute coming down.
Exactly. It's like a base jump. Redding. As Boggs giving chase. Of course, Boggs, as we mentioned, used to the Florida Heat, having played at IMG Academy. And then, of course, college soccer at USF and UCF.
That's not good.
Dennis Chin is down.
Did he pull? Did he pull a... I don't think it's too early to be cramping. He may have pulled something. You saw him go down as he went across the line. You saw him go to his knees and was like, whoa, hold on a minute here.
And here comes the training staff. So Orlando will be a man down for the time being as we check in on Dennis Chin.
I'm sure that Orlando will have Corey Herzog, or as we like to call him down here, Sonic the Herzog, getting up and ready. And that's not an area where Orlando's incredibly deep. Is in the striker department. There's just 2 of them. Of course, Dennis Chin and the aforementioned Corey Herzog. So that'll be of some concern to Adrian Heath, especially coming into these games that are coming thick and fast. You're going to be looking at it with 1 striker if this turns out to be some type of a muscle injury.
Chin with 4 goals this season. Herzog still looking for his first in league play, but had to feel good about getting 2 goals in that U.S. Open Cup win against Ocala.
He's still down, laying back. This is not looking good.
Orlando City continues to play a man down.
I'm sure
Benge.
I'm sure nobody was up and getting ready, so it's going to take Orlando City just a few minutes to get the substitute ready to go. Should they go that route? Look at that little combination.
I tell you what, Luke Bowden and Abdama and Benge are really starting to come together and know where each other are going to be on the pitch. And that one will be off of Alvarez and out for a throw for the Charlotte Eagles.
Takes a while to build up that chemistry. I mean, it was always the Luke Bowden and Jamie, our good buddy Jamie.
Herrera brings it down off his chest. Defense closes in. Boy, a deflection, diving save by Gallardo. That might have been going toward that near post.
See Superman come flying across, touching that away.
Miguel playing with a lot of confidence right now. Charlotte trying to pull a goal back here as we draw late here in this first half.
Just talking about chemistry, you know, they're starting to develop that chemistry, and I'm sure Luke will be looking for that after the chemistry that he had with Jamie Watson.
We are getting word that Corey Herzog is set to check in. The next ball into touch.
Let's see if we get an update on exactly what that is for Dennis Chin. I'm guessing it's some type of either a calf strain or some type of maybe a slight hamstring strain, possibly the quad, not sure. But you definitely saw him go down quite. He went sprinting across in that big run, goes to chase the ball out, and then he pulled up quickly.
Well, you already brought the attention to the depth at forward. There's just the 2, and you've got a number of big games coming up here at home and in a short span, because you've got the exhibition against Roma, not nearly as important, but the U.S. Open Cup game and the 4 league games all here this month. And you don't want to be down one of your best goal scorers.
Well, you don't want to be down one of your best, but it's also just precarious. It's a precarious situation because you only have one other striker.
Surin surveys things here in our 38th minute.
Now you're gonna get some hard work coming in from Corey Herzog, because that guy rolls up his sleeves, puts on his hard hat, and brings his lunch pail. He goes to work.
Our thoughts were with Dennis. Let's hope it's not serious and precautionary. He's no longer there in the corner. He's back at the bench. Checked out by the award-winning training staff of Orlando City. Now right side, Spann. McNabb-Burke.
There's nobody in the box.
Behind him. Brian didn't know quite what to do.
Well, there's nobody in the box. That's probably where right now Brian Spann would want to be filling in. He's in that hole.
Switched over to Bowden. Keeps it in front. Off to his right foot now in Mbenge. Those two have worked together well so far. Adam able to keep it on the left foot. Shot takes a deflection and back out to Charlotte, who will try to counter now. Oh, bumped off the ball. No call. And Mbenge guarded by Duckett.
He gets stronger and stronger season by season, Adam Mbenge. I've been somewhat impressed with his progression.
Pass was a bit adventurous. Russin will collect. Reading ahead. Comes right back. Touch Mbenge. See the Lions now just happy to possess the ball as they're still down a player.
Yeah, if you can just keep the ball and make the other team work hard, and in these conditions, which I said, it's really, really warm out there.
Surin. Bods.
Good ball movement by Orlando. Good possession work.
Mbenge still able to win the ball. Back out to Bowden. Called off by Surin. Played 40 minutes now.
Right now you'd have a hard time telling which team had 11 and which team had 10.
Intercepted by Herrera. Now Charlotte will try to take advantage of this man up. J.J. Greer saves it back. No sense of urgency being shown by the Eagles right now, still staying patient.
Being a man down and certainly lacking a striker when you only play really one up top, you'd think they'd go into more of a press mode a little bit. This is a good time for them to try to play in the other end of the park, but they seem to be quite comfortable just defending and letting Orlando have the ball for a while, and then the urgency going forward just isn't quite there right now.
Make sure you follow at USL Pro on Twitter for all the latest updates. Hashtag best lower division soccer. You can fit all that on 140 characters.
Hashtag just great soccer. This is a fantastic league. A lot of fun. You watch a lot of great young up-and-coming players, exciting teams.
Only getting better, too. Sacramento Republic now 2 crowds over 20,000 at home this season. The expansion franchise. We've seen what Oklahoma City has done with some big crowds. That one.
I think he took a little bit of garbage can. I think he took a little bit of turf with him on that.
Nike is also a proud sponsor of USL Pro. You can follow at Nike Soccer on Twitter for all the latest Nike Soccer information. Orlando City 2, Charlotte Eagles nothing as we approach halftime here at ESPN Wide World of Sports. First of 4 league contests for Orlando City here this month. And going into next month, you've got a game against Charleston on the 31st, then Montreal Impact Reserves come in, then the Orange County Blues. As the Lions look to stay unbeaten. Through 10 so far, have not been defeated. Trying to match that mark from 2012 in which they won 14 in a row. That was a great run that we both witnessed.
Oh, and then, you know, they're also unbeaten in all competitions so far this year, Jeff, be it preseason friendlies, be it cup competitions. So far, unbeaten in all games.
Benge on that left side. He'll drill it and curling to the left.
Bent it the wrong way. He had the wrong boot on the wrong foot. He had the right boot on his left foot.
Duckworth to send it away. Surveys things in front. No sense of hurry up right now by Charlotte. Going to stick to the plan. Let things come to them, perhaps on a counter ball coming through.
A little heavy.
You see Herzog now in there.
He was going, but the ball was just, I think it was Dennis Chin, but it's Corey Herzog, so you have to adjust.
Corey sends it right back. Molino through. And there will be a corner for Charlotte, as again Mbenge looking dangerous inside the box.
So Corey Herzog, good workers, get good rate of speed.
Well, every USL Pro regular season and playoff game will stream live on YouTube in 2014. Features include DVR, chat, and social media interactivity. Subscribe for free to the Orlando City SC YouTube channel today. So glad you're joining us where we happen to be. That includes the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina, as their Eagles down by a couple of goals here. Corner by Surin. Took a header out, and it will be a goal kick for the Eagles. Charlotte 12-5-11 last year, finishing in 5th place. Really turned it on at the end of the season and had a nice run. Upset Richmond, the regular season champs, in the semifinals to earn that championship appearance against Orlando. And everybody knows the 7-4 win for Orlando City, in which Dom Dwyer scored 4 goals and his callback from Sporting Kansas City.
You really, once he got on that pitch, you sensed a whole lift to the entire stadium. They knew that their guy was on that pitch.
Bilal Duckett now.
I've heard there'll be 1 minute of stoppage time added on here, Jeff.
As Gallardo, he and Yates gets a little pat in the back. And no hurry. The man in black boots it away. Alvarez, nice win of the ball. And now Charlotte will look to counter with about a half a minute left. Drilled over to the stands on the far side. Orlando City throw-in that should waste good portion of the balance of our time.
Well, you're not going to be too disappointed if you're Coach Adrian Heath. Going into the locker room 2-0 up.
Surin. Now Russin.
It's going to leave.
There's our whistle.
It's going to leave Coach Mark Steffens with a little bit of work to do going into his dressing room.
It is halftime here at the ESPN Wide World of Sports. Orlando City leading Charlotte 2-0. We'll be back with the second half in about 12 minutes here on YouTube.
Stats so far, of course, a few things jump out at you. One, shots to Orlando 5-2, but corners 6-0 to Orlando. You know, you look at those two things, it shows you some of the dominance of Orlando in that first half. Shots on goal, 4 for Orlando,
How about
2
the
for
corners?
Charlotte. And again, like I said, 6 for Orlando, 0 for Charlotte. And that's your 2-0 scoreline. Of course, one of those coming as a result, as the impending result of a corner, the first Molino goal. So, that shows the dominance right there. That's the one that stands out to me, Jeff, is the corner statistic. 6 to Orlando and none to Charlotte.
Well, the Eagles go into the locker room trailing by 2. They'll regroup and come back for the second half. You're watching Orlando City Soccer on YouTube. We'll be back. Well, he has 1 goal. We're back at ESPN Wide World of Sports at Walt Disney World Resort at the half. The Lions lead the Eagles 2-0. 2 goals for now the league-leading goal scorer, Kevin Molino. Actually came in with 5 goals scored in a 4-way tie. Now he's all by himself with 7. And if you're Adrian Heath, this is a bonus to get goals from Molino, who's always been a distributor cap guy to kind of set everybody else up. But a little extra for the Trinidad and Tobago International.
Well, I'm sure he's quite pleased with his goal production, if unanticipated it is. But you got to have somebody knocking him in, Jeff. So just as well him as someone else.
Charlotte, see if they do anything different to stem the tide here as we get set to begin the second half.
Well, they're certainly going to have to commit some bodies forward, Jeff. They're going to have to try and probe and ask some more questions of Orlando and look to get balls slotted in back behind. And I would get the ball into Drew Yates a little bit more. If you recall in the first half, he had a great attempt on frame, which forced Miguel Gallardo into a fantastic save. Looked to play a nice, clever through ball that he and I think it was Wells Thompson just weren't quite on the same page. So for me, get some more bodies forward. Let Drew Yates get on the ball a little bit more. And if you're Orlando City, hey, you got a 2-0 lead, but you don't want to sit on that. Let's go push issue. The next goal in this game is going to be big. In a 2-0 lead, the next goal is always big.
Played immediately back to Luke Bowden. We are underway in our second half. The Lions in purple now going from left to right. Charlotte would behoove them to get a goal here early in the second half, as that ball was fortuitous. And now Duckett will retrieve.
I'm not sure. Was there a change in the midfield? Did they just say Fred Sakiri, I believe, is off?
That is correct. Sakiri is off. Now Giuseppe Gentile, the Chicago Fire loanee, now in the game, who has played in 6 games, has 6 shots, has yet to score, and another Charlotte native. So you got a number of North Carolina originals plus a number of ACC stars. You have 3 players on this Charlotte roster that played at Wake Forest, a NCAA powerhouse, another at Maryland.
Wow. You know, Jeff, there's fantastic college soccer up in North Carolina. I mean, take your pick from the University of North Carolina to Duke to UNC Charlotte to Appalachian State to, I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. So certainly a lot of college players to take a look at if you're Coach Mark Steffens. I'm sure he gets out to quite a few college games.
So you've got Gentile, Thompson, Guzman, Noonan, all natives of North Carolina on this roster. Just like Orlando with the Floridians that are now joining. Already had Chin, now you've got Redding. And I'm sure plenty more to come.
Now, am I right? Aren't those both? They're both Oviedo boys,
both from
aren't
Oviedo,
they?
Not just Central Florida. Yeah,
and that's a small
both
little
Oviedo
town.
Lions, who, as far as high school goes, have been one of the best high school programs the last couple of seasons. They made the state Final Four this year. The Lions did, under head coach Ben Luker. Of course, each of those players did not play for Ben. There's a ball sent in. And Gallardo, scoop catch, and drills it away with his left foot. Sent back to Duckworth, who's had 2 go by him, both on rebound opportunities. That first one drilled Brian Burke with a laser.
Like I said,
right to Molino.
He hasn't had a chance to play too many games in anger, so he let about 9 months of frustration out in that one.
Well, wait till he plays Charleston, which is our next league contest. That's the team that took him out and caused his injury.
Good ball movement.
Way in front, Mbenge has it defended at the last second. Orlando corrals it quickly. Been a big couple of weeks here in the City Beautiful for the Lions, as far as the new logo revealed for MLS. I take it you like it, nice and clean.
Oh.
Not that there was anything really wrong with the first one, but you want to start off fresh when you go to your next league.
No, it's crisp. It's good. It's simple, but it's really, really good. I like it.
Very marketable.
Yes.
Easy to put on hats, T-shirts, jerseys, and mugs. Boy, dangerous ball. Reading had sent that back. Charlotte now having to force the issue a little bit defensively, and they'll continue to run him out. Boy, Herzog nearly stole that away.
And that's what you get. I'm telling you, hard work. He puts in a shift, Corey Herzog.
Make him sound like a hockey player.
Hey, you see him? He could be. See, there he goes.
Corey couldn't quite get there. Boy, distributed quickly, almost all the way out to center, and it is by Duckworth. Got it to Herrera, now will cross the field. Left side, this is Ben Noonan. And throw in for the Charlotte Eagles. Turn made by Guzman. Switch for Charlotte. Drilled far side, Noonan. Corralled and sent forward. All the way into the corner. He's able to get the corner into the 18, an open opportunity. There's a left-footed shot and deflected by Orlando City.
Good block put in by Brad Russin, because that was a good look at the top of the box by Gentile. Giuseppe Gentile found himself in some space. Definitely pulling that trigger. Brad Russin had to put his big 6'4" frame in the way.
Our broadcast director, Austin Hiddle, just gave us the random stat of the night. Orlando City has yet to lose a USL Pro game in the month of May. It has never happened, and this is the 4th season.
Well done, Austin.
Existence.
Well done. Good stat digging.
From the Elias Sports Bureau. My goodness. Just pulling it out. The jack of all trades for the Orlando City organization. Video extraordinaire. 52nd minute. 2-0 game. Noonan cut it to his right foot. Didn't fool Span a bit. Back to Wells Thompson.
Wells Thompson's relocated himself.
Played back by Russin. Sent right short of the halfway line. There it is, 50-50 ball. And J.J. Greer had the first head, but it came right to Brian Burke on the right side. Burke sends it in. Was looking for Span and had it taken away. You see the frustration there.
The galloping Burke.
Win by Russin. Back to Reading. And now Alvarez will start right from the middle of the park. Looking to play through to Herzog. Didn't work. Ball skipping ahead and corralled nicely by Charlotte. Here's a chance for the Eagles along the touchline. And that was
just close.
A scary ball through the 6-yard area.
Wow. Great hard work. I think that was Giuseppe Gentile to keep that ball in. Plays the ball across. It flashes across quickly. Charlotte Plainville just couldn't get to it, but that was close.
Span moving off to Burke. Here's the cross. Earns a corner.
No.
Not quite. Nicely kept in. Thought he had it. Span pushed off, throw in for Orlando. Brian Burke, Newport Beach, California, making his home debut here tonight after a 10-month layoff from that broken leg.
Little extracurriculars off that.
Thompson loses the handle.
I think early in the match we had Wells Thompson pushed top on the left, but he's relocated himself back into the midfield.
Hartzog sends it back, shielded very nicely by Siren. Burke and Darwin work as a pair. Molino. And the switch is made by the Orlando City Lions. They lead it 2-0 here. 55th minute. And now we'll have a ruling by our referee.
Maybe a handball.
Handball just outside the 18-yard box. And Lance Jacob Van Heidsma explaining things to Jorge Herrera. And not taking any guff.
Having a congress here about who's going to take this.
Molino and Surin right outside the line. 2-0 lead is big. 3-0 lead almost insurmountable against this Orlando City side.
Yeah, you get the sense at 3-0 it'd just be too big a mountain to climb for most teams and for Charlotte.
Oh, and now a yellow card shown to Charlotte, probably for dissent by Duckett, and second yellow of the night on the Eagles. Duckett now in the books.
Oh, he just didn't quite agree with the call and persisted a little bit too much.
Duckett, we saw him at Rochester last year, made 20 appearances for the Rhinos after being loaned out from the New England Revolution. Now makes his home in Charlotte. He has his name in the referee's book tonight. Molino will approach. Surin, boy, drills it.
Struck just
wide right.
Struck a little bit behind that ball as it came across, which creates
like a gust of wind took it.
It does create that odd trajectory.
Throw in by Noonan.
And by odd, I mean not on target.
Boy, give it away just like that. So Charlotte just can't get out of their own way. Here's Burke with the throw. Here's the turn made. Player down. Ooh. No ruling.
He was going to look for it. He's going to look for the call.
All right on frame. Player down for Orlando City. And it was Herzog, of course, who was always in the middle of it.
That's one you don't want to see Herzog. You don't want to see that one getting hurt now, because that would be both strikers out and gone. So if he goes down, everybody's holding their breath if you're an Orlando fan.
On the boundary, far side. Be conceded to Orlando City here. A slow pace to the second half, at least to start out with. Okay, if you're just joining us, Dennis Chin out with an injury late in that first half. This after Kevin Molino has scored his 6th and 7th goals of the season. Right place, right time sort of things. Ball is coming off of rebounds. Now here's Burke, who earns a corner, pounds it off of the fence. And the Lions continue to rack up the corner kick stat. And Duckworth's, let's just say, his blood pressure continues to rise.
Well, they'll certainly keep the pressure on, and he's got a lot of work to do communicating with his defenders and trying to keep balls out of the back of that net.
Duckett and Noonan inside, right on that line to help guard it from coming in. Ball drilled top of the 6, still loose. Lions will hold it in. Ball gets away from Mbenge, who's on this other side. Will shoot with the left foot. Big save by Duckworth.
That's the one thing you don't want to let that young man do. You do not want to let Adama Mbenge get a ball with a look on his left foot. Because as we've said before here many times, he possesses the hammer of Thor with that left.
So first shot on goal there in the second half. Right side. Burke sends it across. Back heel. Herzog had it right in front. Don't think he's expecting that extra touch.
It was a good ball wide by Adama Mbenge to find Brian Burke, and good ball played low hard along the turf. Was just flicked on. Corey Herzog was unable to get it directed toward goal. Hit a Charlotte Eagle player en route or route, whichever you.
En route. Tomato. Back to Duckworth, and he'll send it high into the sky. Oh, boy, Bowden was in the right place there.
It was a brave challenge. Brave challenge for both players there, Jeff.
This is Herrera. Being encouraged out of the attacking third. Boy, dangerous effort to clear by Mbenge. He'll receive the pass now and go along that right side. Adama, who's normally on that left, now you see him on the right. A different look for the Charlotte defense. Comes back to Adama. In front, Herzog shoots to the right and just misses. A bit of a sitter.
Wow. You thought, I'm sure everybody, including Corey Herzog, thought, here we go. I'm going to get my first goal as an Orlando City player, and just pushes it wide.
Sometimes the easy ones are the hardest.
Keep shooting, Corey. It's coming.
We saw him in the preseason against the MLS team score a couple of spectacular goals from distance. We'll try it again here as Adama dribbles into the 18 in front. Little give and go. Mbenge cuts it to the left foot. Held up, will get a shot on frame, and not enough pace on it.
I think some other players are asking for that pass that was not coming. But this little change of Adama Mbenge over to the right has paid off quite a little bit.
Looks like Mark Steffens now will make a change at the top of his formation. That 4-3-3. Zach Boggs will check out here in a moment for David Gino, the native of Tennessee. Here's Bowden. Molino along the right. There's a number of defenders on him. Will poke it straight back. Alvarez. Boy, knocked right off the ball with Surin. Throw in Orlando City.
Here we go. We get a good look. Watch this. Strong ball come in. It just gets underneath him. He's not able to get it quite clean. He had to struggle to get it out from underneath him. When he did, he forced the shot just a little bit wide to the right.
And for Orlando City, you see number 6, Anthony Pulis. And Pulis.
Anthony Pulis
will enter the game. Take this time to remind you that scores, stats, news, and more all can be found exclusively on USLProSoccer.com. As Pulis entering the game.
I think you'll start to see Giordani push forward a little bit, because Anthony's not going to obviously play where Brian Spann was playing in the hole. He's going to sit a little bit deeper. So I expect Giordani Alvarez to push forward a little bit more here. Or possibly Darwin Sarin.
Yeah, that's what you would think. Alvarez tends to play.
He tends to sit deeper
and let everything stay in front. See now, see if Sarin comes up.
Looks well. Let's see.
He is a little higher up.
Oh,
and now Alvarez does push.
There's Gio
right
in your picture. So let's see. It's perhaps he's changed his triangle in the middle, but I doubt it.
Herrera has the ball now. Yates back left side. Had two options there. It's sent far post and handled by Bowden. Kick it forward, out of trouble. Comes back to Gold. And now a turnover.
Pocket picked.
Here's Molino. Make that in Menge there on the left. He'll shoot. It takes a deflection far post. Herzog nearly got there.
It's going to go for a corner nonetheless. Adama read that errant pass, stepped in front of it, off to the races.
Fans, visit the USL Pro fan page on Facebook at facebook.com/USL Pro. Plenty to talk about from this one tonight. The brace from Molino, perhaps. And yet another corner kick. A set piece goal here will, for all intents and purposes, put this one in the books. And Menge sends it in, far post, top of the 6, falls right to a Charlotte defender. And here's Burke. Menge sends it in with the left foot. So Adama played on the left most of this game, now all over on the right. Will mix up the defense somewhat. Here's Duckett.
Well, if you get that guy cutting in onto his left foot and you give him a look, it's certainly coming at you with some pace.
There the chants from the supporter sections, the Iron Lion Firm and the Ruckus. Doing just that, making a ruckus as usual here on a Wednesday night at Walt Disney World Resort.
They sound in good form tonight, as every night.
Coming up on Friday, a game against AS Roma.
Ooh.
Exhibition.
That was a bit close.
Francesco Totti should be in the house because he did not make Italy's World Cup 30.
He was close. He had a really great start to his season. I think if he could have kept that going a little later on in the season,
great ball ahead left side, running in, shot.
Wow.
Is saved initially by Duckworth, who's able to cover in the nick of time.
Well, that worked out. That looked like it was going far post, and Corey Herzog was lurking.
And Surin, nice run there.
That kind of player slid in kind of to disrupt it, but it bounces back off Duckworth, who's able to jump out and get it. So worked out for Charlotte in the end.
Bowden with the wheels there. 67th minute. No scoring here in the second half. It was all Kevin Molino in the first. And Orlando City continues to push the issue. The ball drilled far post, headed back into the 18. A shot off of Duckworth and into the crowd.
Wow. Well, I tell you what, great cross and a great header back into the area to set that one up. That certainly came off like a jet off his boots.
Here comes the corner kick for Orlando. You're certainly making Duckworth earn his paycheck tonight.
This is where Orlando City's missed Rob Valentino most, I think, in these situations off corners.
Surin sends it away, touches Charlotte player first. Now you got to be wary of that counter. Here comes the speed and just overrun. And it'll come back to Bowden.
Rob Valentino, very influential in all corners for Orlando. So I think he's missed in those situations. And Orlando City's had a lot of corners tonight.
Herrera will be taken out here in a moment for Charlotte, as the placard is up subwise for Tyrone Hall, midfielder.
Nice move, Tommy Redding.
Getting ahead a bit. Bowden. 2 defenders. He wants a handball, did not get the call, continues to chase. The second half started slow, but has certainly picked up for Orlando the last few. 4 shots on goal in the last 10. And here come the subs. So Tyrone Hall and Richard Dixon, come on down, join the party.
Is that tricky, Richard Dixon?
J.J. Greer comes off. Comes the throw for lefty Luke. Back to Russin. Gallardo has had a quiet second half. Not much coming his way.
I'm sure he's happy about that, Jeff. I don't think any keeper says, you know, I really want to face about 15 shots, of which 7 are really quality and force me into great saves. I think he's happy to stand right there and just kind of spectate and just direct traffic a little bit.
Miguel's only had to make 1 save here in the second half.
Of course, he was busy in the first half. Came up big several times.
20 minutes away from a clean sheet. And
that one goes a little Christopher Cross on us. Well, went sailing.
We've exhausted both of those songs, right? Make sure to follow at USL Pro on Twitter for all the latest social media updates. Hashtag #JumpJump. Mac Daddy make you.
Mac Dad'll make you.
And they're still pushing the issue. You'll never see them back off.
No.
They get 2 goals, they want 3.
Sometimes I think it's bad to just sit back and allow a team to apply pressure. You could ask for the wrong thing. I think in this case they've had so much of the game, and you know, Charlotte's, you know, if you're a Charlotte fan, unfortunately, you've not had too much in the way of chances, quality chances on goals. So yeah, Orlando City's going to push the issue a little bit.
Trailed forward. There's Mbenge getting pushed off the ball and pushed right into it. Able to collect. Top of the 18. A shot right on target. And Molino looked to have his 3rd goal. Was that Alvarez? Excuse me.
Alvarez. Yeah, I think he did everything he could to try to get that thing. It came across with some pace, and I don't think he wanted to sail away on him. So he did everything he could to keep that ball low. Unfortunately, in doing so, he took a little bit of the pace out of the ball.
And Brock was like, thank you for sending that right at my feet. Alvarez has a goal so far this season. Scored it in that game against Oklahoma City.
Whoops.
Oh, there's a giveaway by Pulis. And Yates ahead. Nice ball into the 18. A shot off target.
Like I said, you don't want to be giving those balls away in your 3rd, because that's where they wind up.
If that had snuck in, Gallardo wouldn't have had a chance.
Yates got himself free, got himself in. Gallardo coming out, shot just a little bit to the left. You just got to be careful giving those away.
A lot of the opposing USL Pro coaches the last couple of years will tell you, generally Orlando City is going to be the better side and they're going to possess, but you can get to them. Every now and again, any team will make a mistake if you apply pressure.
Well, typically, you know, Jeff, the game kind of throws up something for every team. It'll give you something. The game always does. You just have to be present enough to take that chance. You got to take it when it comes.
And yeah, when you have that chance, you've got to cash it in. Play the hand you're dealt. It's usually a bad hand, but you can win with a bad hand in poker, right?
Sometimes. You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold.
Oh, how about the move from Burke?
And you got to know when to make clever moves like that.
Boy, have we missed the Brian Burke. headed forward. Adama into the 18. It will be sent out for another. Nope, goal kick this time.
I think Corey Herzog's coming across looking for Adama to lay him on in. They both end up running in the same direction.
There's another substitution. Matt Gold comes off for Brandow, Gui Brandow. And Duckworth getting an earful from the supporters who decided to leave his seat to make sure it's known. There's the goal kick.
Certainly seemed like the guy had a point to prove.
I think Brock's probably locked in the nature at hand. This game, trying not to let it get away. 15 minutes to go. Here's Mbenge, left foot. Defense closes out that time. A collision, a takeaway, play on, says our referee, Lance Jacob Van Heidsma. Doesn't amount to much on the counter.
You've either got to get the shot off or get the pass off, one or the other.
Charlotte chasing a 2-0 game. They're going to have a chance at maybe getting a point here. They're going to have to score soon. And missed the opportunity a few moments ago.
Well,
on a giveaway by Orlando.
For some finishing that leaves a little bit to be desired, it could be a little bit heavier at this point, Jeff. But
corner kick, as we remind you to vote on your man of the match, because it's the 76th minute now. Use the OC Game Day app and vote on the Orlando City man of the match. 99% sure who that will be.
I wonder.
Unless somebody can pull something out here in the end, but at that point it wouldn't mean much anyway.
As we were messing around with some tributes to some of our favorites, Saturday Night Live characters, we could kind of, could it be Molino?
That's going back. It's Burke getting a breather along that near touchline, and now a substitution for Orlando City.
Mikey Lopez.
Mikey Lopez in for Mbenge, who has put in quite a shift tonight. So Lopez, at Alice, Texas native and Sporting Kansas City loanee, coming off the bench.
And there he goes.
And he's off with the Kentucky Derby coming up later this week. A shot and a score. Orlando City in a hat trick for Kevin Molino.
Well, what must it like to be Mikey Lopez? One of your first touches on the pitch goes to set up hat trick hero Kevin Molino.
Win, place, and show for Molino here.
Watch this ball come across. Kevin Molino, one touch. Great one touch. Perfect. Back the way it came. That's how you finish him, Kevin Molino. And he says, hey, I got 3.
8th goal of the season for Molino. I need to get the exact word. I'm pretty sure he hasn't scored 8 goals in his first 3 years here. He's always been the guy helping everybody else score the goals.
Well, this will be a night to remember for Kevin Molino for sure. And that one probably put the final nail in the coffin, I think, Jeff. I think this one will be done and dusted at this point.
Kevin Molino, the Trinidad and Tobago international, has 20 caps, has scored 5 goals for his international side, has 3 goals in this one for Orlando City. As Tyler Turner will check in now for Brad Russin.
Well, interesting. So is Tyler going to slot in the middle? We're going to see the 2 youngsters next to each other at center halves.
Well, Nike is a proud sponsor of USL Pro. Follow at Nike Soccer on Twitter for all the latest Nike Soccer information. 79th minute, Orlando City 3, Charlotte Eagles 0. A very atypical game between these two, with the exception of that championship game last year that was 7-4. Usually these teams are playing games that are 0-0, 1-1, 1-0. This has been very decisive from the beginning.
Well, I think this half of play has been much stronger for Orlando City. You know, they've only scored 1 goal, but well, look at this here. Let's change things up a little bit.
Off of Gallardo, and it is 3-1.
Wow.
So Charlotte able to pull one back, perhaps too late. And look who. Giuseppe Gentile with not really a gentle shot.
No, but look.
Power behind it.
Fends off Tommy Redding, gets in. Bang. Right underneath Miguel Gallardo. And he is going to scream to the heavens because he wanted that clean sheet. But good determination and a good finish by Giuseppe Gentile.
Chicago Fire Aloni for his hometown side. Played his college ball at UNC Charlotte, his first goal of the season, and fired that right past Gallardo. Again, the giveaway leading to that one.
You know, you can't let up at any point in time in any professional game.
And we just saw a change in the back line. A lot of times you have a miscommunication.
Well, you got 2 youngsters playing next to each other. You got the 2 18-year-olds, Tommy Redding and Tyler Turner, right next to each other. Of course, Tyler Turner plays there for the under-18s of the for the under-18 national team, so he's no stranger to playing center half. But you know, they are young. They are young. They're very young, 18 years of age, but gaining lots of experience. Jeff.
3-1 the score after Gentile. Pull a goal back for Charlotte Eagles. Here is a goal kick off that second foul of the second half on Orlando City. It will stay with Charlotte. Have something brewing now with 10 minutes and change to go.
Well, if they can manage to get themselves a goal here in the next couple of minutes, could be an interesting finish. It looked like the affair was going to be kind of done and dusted at 3-0 until.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed this one here on YouTube. In fact, every USL Pro regular season and playoff game will stream live on YouTube in 2014. The features include DVR, chat, and social media interactivity. Subscribe for free to the Orlando City SC YouTube channel today. And Tom, you and I watch all those road games on YouTube, and it is fun to interact with the fans at times. With a lot of the Orlando City fans I remember the Pittsburgh game. We had a lot of fun watching that one on YouTube. A lot of chatter. Not all of it G-rated at times, but certainly entertaining, and just the chance to be able to interact makes it fun, you know?
That's what you want. I mean, in this day and age, like I said, it's fantastic that you can, you know, text and tweet and watch the game and put your comments there. Great move by USL Pro at adopting the YouTube format.
There's the run held up, and now into the corner. And it'll be a throw for Charlotte here. 2-goal difference. Molino's hat trick answered by Giuseppe Gentile. Under 10 to go. So glad you're with us on YouTube. I'm Jeff Radcliffe, joined by Tom Traxler and our entire ESPN broadcast crew. So the fireworks going off in the distance, and they've been supplied tonight by Kevin Molino of Orlando City with 3 goals.
He has been a one-man fireworks show for sure tonight, Jeff.
Pulis able to win the ball. Now Orlando City will break out. Molino now ahead. Back heel. And nothing doing.
Yep. Not fruitful, that one. Some nice ideas, but the execution just wasn't quite there.
Noonan plays it ahead. Tyler Turner. Nice defense. They spray it out to the wide side. To the 18, the left-footed shot is just off the mark, and it got through the defense.
I was going to say, he came inside rather unmolested and had a pretty good look with his left. Hitting a drive just wide.
Sliced it a bit.
A little slice. Sometimes it's a hook, sometimes it's a slice. Got to get that corrected.
Got to change your stance. Your grip. Gallardo with the left foot sends it high in the air. Will not get the clean sheet tonight. But 3 points are all that matters.
In this league, that's what it's about. It's about getting the 3 points.
Orlando City tonight going in 6 points clear of second place on the LA Galaxy 2. Each team having played 10 games. This is the 11th for Orlando City tonight, the only game on the schedule in USL Pro. So that lead will likely increase unless something catastrophic happens to Orlando here.
You know, earlier on in this half, Jeff, a lot of rhythm for Orlando City, a lot of the play, and a couple substitutions, and you know, a goal by Charlotte, and momentum has kind of changed around a little bit here. Calling off Kevin Molino, he should be getting a nice standing ovation from the crowd tonight for that 3-goal performance, his hat-trick performance.
Kevin Molino, our man of the match. Duh. Duh and or hello.
Yeah, that one was kind of an easy choice.
86th. It was 2-0 Orlando at the half. Molino got his hat trick, and then a few minutes later, Gentile made it 3-1. Charlotte, their reward for coming here and dropping 3 is to go to Richmond, the third-place team in the league right now, and the highest-scoring team in the league. That game coming Saturday at City Stadium in Richmond, Virginia. So the Kickers really picking up where they left off last year. Year in which they won the regular season championship, got knocked off by Charlotte in the semis, and then Orlando City returned the favor to Charlotte in the final. Orlando did not beat Richmond last year, lost twice.
No, that was a game, you know, I think everybody was hoping Charlotte was going to pull off a miracle so that the final could be in Orlando. I think all the fans in Orlando certainly wanted that, of course, and it was a bit surreal. I think everybody resigned themselves that the final was going to go to Richmond.
Richmond 4-1-2 right now in third with 16 points. That one loss to the Charlotte Eagles. So they've got their number.
That's their bogey team. Well, somebody didn't like that. That's for sure.
Afterwards, that game against Richmond, they'll be at home for 4 against Wilmington, Oklahoma City, Orange County, and Charleston. So extended spell at home as we begin the month of June. Lions have the exhibition against Roma on Friday, then U.S. Open Cup next week. Eagles also will face the Carolina Railhawks in the U.S. Open Cup in addition to their league slate. Lions have Charleston here next Saturday.
It's a bit of a rivalry round in USL Pro.
All the North Carolina teams. And that's what we want to see like we did last year. We want to see the USL Pro own the NASL. It has been the case as the third division has gotten the better of the second division on a number of occasions the last couple of seasons. It just goes to show you where this league is at. And now with that MLS partnership that was forged last year, it's only going to get better.
That's it. That's absolutely right, Jeff. A strong league, only getting stronger.
'89th minute. Throw in for Luke Bowden. As chants echo throughout the ESPN Wide World of Sports from the supporter section. game well in hand. You can't tell from the supporters. They're in it from whistle to whistle.
Yeah, they're going to be singing from second one.
Oh,
to
Lopez, what a win. Now Burke to the right side will drill it in. Duckworth catches it in his gut.
Mikey Lopez having himself a nice little half. First thing he did is come on and get an assist. Now you see him setting up Brian Burke on a wonderful play. Great cross by Brian.
Mikey Lopez doing the jitterbug.
But Brock Duckworth absorbing that cross as it comes in.
Sucked it right in. 90th minute. And a turnover in the center of the park. Here's Orlando. Too far out in front. As Herzog can't believe his luck.
Well, I can't either.
Well, fans, join us Friday, May 23rd at 7:30 here at ESPN Wide World of Sports as the Orlando City Lions will host the Italian Super Club, the Giants AS Roma. We'll see you there for sure.
Champions League bound AS Roma.
But granted, their roster will look a little different as they've had a number of call-ups to the World Cup training.
Yeah, you'll still see a few. You're still going to see a few from that side.
Hey, they're still playing in Serie A.
Second place team in Serie A. Boy, Champions League bound. Tons of history in that club.
Second only to Juventus, who were just monstrous and massive this year. Ran away with that league. Of course, the Lions hosted Roma last year, like January 2nd, I believe. Right after New Year's, and Orlando City just had a hodgepodge roster of players that hadn't been signed, a lot of trialists, because we were still 3 months out from camp. And Roma, Michael Bradley and company put on a hurting 5-0. That was played over at Rollins College. 3 minutes of stoppage have been added. We're about we've exhausted one of those. That's going to be fun. You and I get to call a Serie A game in a way.
Wow. No pressure.
Half a Serie A game. Those iconic dark red jerseys.
Italian. Mamma mia, that's a spicy meatball.
The Giallo Rossi. The Yellow Reds. Oh, another dangerous giveaway there. And cleared away by Brian Burke. 90 seconds remain in this one. Drilled far post. Boy, another dangerous ball. An adventurous last 20-30 minutes here for the back line of Orlando City.
Well, you know, well done on Charlotte. I mean, you know, at 3-0, you could have just said, fold up the tents, let's limit the damages and limp on out of here. But no, they say, we're going to keep going. We're going to play whistle to whistle, no matter what the score. You got to admire that in a squad.
And the season is a process. Things you do in this game could lead to something good. A redirect shot over the top on the header. Went over by a couple of inches, and you hear the woos in the crowd. You thought Ric Flair was back there.
I think that's a bunch of squeaky bums going off at one time is what that was.
Boy, it's a whole lot interesting if it's a one-goal game.
It would. That was a very, very thoughtful header that went across. Orlando fortunate that didn't nestle in the back of the net.
30 seconds. Giuseppe Gentile makes that horizontal run and will spray it to the wide side. Waning moments of this one. Orlando out front 3-0 into this latter portions of the second half. Giuseppe Gentile spoils the shutout, and there is the whistle from Lance Jacob Van Heidsma. This one is in the books. It goes to the Pride of Lions. 3-1 the final over the Eagles of Charlotte.
Hard fought in the end, Jeff, really. Looked like it could have been an academic affair, kind of done and dusted, and ended up being an interesting finish. at 3-1.
You see Kevin Molino, goals 6, 7, and 8. He now has a 3-goal lead on the rest of the league in that department. Grab him 6 more points as well. He's at 20 there, and here are the rest of the stats from this one.
Well, even though 3-1, really heavily dominated, of course, by Orlando. 13 shots for Orlando, 7 for Charlotte, and then you drop down and you look at corners. Not a single corner for Charlotte. So that tells you the ball was in Charlotte's end an awful, awful lot. Shots on goal on target, 11 on target and 4 for Charlotte. So a real domination by Orlando City, not only in the score, but also in the stats.
Well, Charlotte drops to 3-5-0, 9 points on the season. Here's the top half of the 14-team table in USL Pro. Orlando City well in front now. They move another 3 points ahead of Los Angeles in games played. They're 8-0-3 on the season, the only team in the league not to have suffered a defeat.
Yeah, you look at it in Orlando City, very comfortable now, with a game in hand, but still very comfortable in the lead. But they're not going to rest on that. You can't, because you got Los Angeles right below you and Richmond looking like they're coming on very, very strong. So looking forward to those games coming up a little later on in the season.
Well, Orlando City, an impressive result tonight, a 3-1 win to kick off this 4-game league homestand, as Kevin Molino, a hat trick tonight here at ESPN Wide World of Sports. For my partner Tom Traxler, our broadcast director Austin Hiddle, and the rest of our ESPN crew, I'm Jeff Radcliffe saying so long from Walt Disney World. Orlando City 3, Charlotte 1. Good night.